Before there was luxury, before there was legend, there was a boy working in the streets of Victorian England with nothing but calloused hands and an impossible dream. This is the story of how the world's most prestigious automobile brand was born not in a palace, but in the gutters of hardship. This is the untold origin of Rolls-Royce. 1863. Industrial England, a place of coal smoke, child labor, and crushing poverty. Into this harsh world, Henry Royce was born. His parents operated a small flour mill, desperately trying to survive in an economy that devoured the weak. But fate had no mercy. The mill failed, the family went bankrupt, everything they owned was taken. Henry was 4 years old when he started working. While other children played, Henry sold newspapers on the streets. While other children learned to read, Henry learned to survive. This wasn't just poverty, this was the kind of desperation that breaks most people before they even begin. Then, when Henry was 9 years old, his father died. Childhood was over. Education was a luxury he couldn't afford. Full-time labor became his only option. At an age when most children are mastering multiplication, Henry Royce was mastering survival. Here's the question that haunted young Henry Royce. How do you break free when the world has already decided your fate? But Henry Royce discovered something that the system couldn't take away from him. Henry couldn't afford school, but he could learn. While working grueling hours in factories and railway workshops, he did something extraordinary. He attended night classes. After 12-hour shifts, when his body screamed for rest, Henry Royce studied. Mathematics, engineering, physics. Every spare penny went to books. Every spare moment went to learning. This wasn't talent, this was obsession. This was a young man who understood that excellence was his only weapon against poverty. Through apprenticeships with the Great Northern Railway and later with a London electric lighting company, Henry absorbed everything. He studied how machines worked, how they failed, and most importantly, how they could be made better. But knowledge alone wouldn't be enough. Henry needed a philosophy. And in those dark workshops covered in grease and sweat, he developed one. Whatever I do, I will do better than anyone else. Not just good, not just adequate, better, perfect, even if it meant staying awake for days, even if it meant rebuilding something 20 times until it was flawless. This wasn't ambition, this was survival strategy. In a world that gave him nothing, perfection became his currency. 1884. At 21 years old, Henry Royce had saved exactly 20 pounds, roughly $2,500 in today's money. It was everything he had. Most people in his position would have saved it, protected it, feared losing it. But Henry understood something crucial. Poverty isn't overcome by safety, it's overcome by calculated risk. He co-founded F.H. Royce & Company with a friend, producing electrical components, doorbells, dynamos, cranes, unglamorous products, but products built with fanatical attention to detail. Word spread. If you want it done right, buy it from Royce. Orders grew. By the 1990s, what started with 20 pounds had become a thriving industrial business. Henry Royce had escaped poverty, but he wasn't satisfied. While Henry Royce clawed his way out of poverty, Charles Rolls was born into a completely different world. 1877. An aristocratic family, wealth, education, opportunity, everything Henry never had. Charles Rolls studied engineering at Cambridge, but his true passion was speed. Fast cars, dangerous races, aviation adventures. He opened one of Britain's first car dealerships, importing exotic European automobiles for the wealthy elite. Rolls had the connections, the charm, the business acumen. What he didn't have was the engineering genius to build something truly revolutionary. He was selling other people's dreams. He needed an engineer who could create his own. 1904, Manchester, the Midland Hotel. two men from opposite worlds brought together by fate and a mutual acquaintance who owned one of Henry Royce's early experimental cars, the Royce 10 HP. Rolls, accustomed to the finest European automobiles, took Royce's car for a test drive. He drove it once around the block, felt the smoothness, heard the silence of the engine, noticed the precision in every detail. Within minutes, not days, not weeks, minutes, Charles Rolls made a decision that would create history. I'll take every car you can build. The self-taught perfectionist and the aristocratic entrepreneur shook hands. The partnership was born. 1906, Rolls-Royce Limited was officially formed. But forming a company is easy. Building a legend, that requires something extraordinary. 1907, they unveiled the Silver Ghost, a 6-cylinder masterpiece that would redefine what an automobile could be. Not just transportation, art, engineering, poetry. The Silver Ghost completed endurance trials of over 14,000 miles without a single mechanical failure. Unheard of, impossible, revolutionary. The press proclaimed it the best car in the world. But here's what made Rolls-Royce different from every other luxury brand. They didn't just claim to be the best, they proved it, publicly, repeatedly, relentlessly. Thanks to their managing director Claude Johnson, called the hyphen in Rolls-Royce, they turned engineering excellence into marketing legend. 1910. Just as Rolls-Royce was reaching new heights, tragedy struck. Rolls, ever the daredevil, died in an air crash. He became the first British aviator to die in an airplane accident. The partnership was broken. The dreamer was gone. But Henry Royce continued, driven by his uncompromising standards, and now by the memory of his partner, he pushed forward. 1914, World War I erupted. Rolls-Royce faced a choice: fade into irrelevance or adapt. They chose transformation. Henry Royce and his team shifted from luxury automobiles to aircraft engines, creating the Rolls-Royce Eagle, an engine so reliable it powered nearly half of all Allied aircraft. This wasn't just a business pivot, this was Royce's philosophy of perfection applied to saving lives. When a pilot's life depended on an engine not failing at 10,000 feet, good enough wasn't good enough. Rolls-Royce's aerospace legacy was born in the fires of war. Henry Royce worked until his very last breath. Even from his deathbed in 1933, he sketched engineering designs, solving problems, pursuing perfection. His final words to the company weren't about profit or market share, they were about philosophy. Strive for perfection in everything you do. Take the best that exists and make it better. When it does not exist, design it. From a 4-year-old selling newspapers in the slums of Victorian England to the creator of the world's most prestigious brand, Henry Royce proved something extraordinary. Your beginning doesn't determine your ending. The Rolls-Royce that exists today, powering luxury cars and jet engines across the globe, began with a boy who had nothing. Nothing except an unbreakable belief that perfection was possible. Nothing except the willingness to work harder than everyone else. Nothing except the courage to risk everything on a dream.